This video from BuzzFeed, they're trying to prove some sort of societal point. So they sent out plus-size women, which truly is doing a disservice to most plus-size women, to apparently break down the barriers of what is deemed acceptable for them to wear. This is the brilliant social commentary we've come to expect from third-wave feminists and BuzzFeed. Let's roll the first clip.
We are trying on clothes that society has told us we shouldn't wear.
No, that's not society. Those are the seams. They're breaking because you can't fit into those clothes. It's not society. Seams. Next clip.
Long time ago, someone assembled a list of rules that bind all plus-size women, and if we just abide by them, people won't be mean to us.
Isn't it nice to just make completely unsubstantiated claims?
But she put the little checklist in the corner. It must be real.
A long time ago, someone came up with these rules, and this is a problem, and we'll get to the overarching point. This is a problem with, you see it with obviously feminists, you see it with people who have these sort of conspiracy, it's about the government, man, it's the Illuminati, man, it's the system, man, like there's some ultimate force that's making these decisions and pulling at the purse strings. There was no, what do they think? They think there was some double secret patriarchy meeting? Here, from henceforth, no giant fat whales will be allowed to wear Lululemon. Meeting adjourned. It never happened. There was no meeting. It's biological evolution. There are reasons we're attracted to certain things. There was no meeting. Next clip.
Yeah, I honestly think like a whole bunch of small white people in Europe made up fashion rules and now we're supposed to go by it.
That's racist. They were actually invented by a fat African man in the plains of Mozambique. So you little known fact.
Who knew?
This is where it went back to, while we're just operating on completely unsubstantiated assumptions. Next clip.
Don't wear stripes.
You can't wear crop tops if you're this size.
No strapless dresses.
Not wearing white after Labor Day.
These aren't rules. These are merely,
I thought that was a joke.
These are merely suggestions. They're merely suggestions. And by the way, they're taking suggestions and conflating them with societal rules, and they're still not able to find any. They're still scraping the bottom of the barrel. They pull out white after Labor Day, which applies to everyone.
Everybody.
It's not for fat chicks. It's an excuse for some guy to kick your ass in the school locker room because you wore white pants after September.
Sure.
We're supposed to be dressed in a way that's flattering, and so all of these rules are supposed to make us look flattering.
I hate the word flattering so much that I would rather wear a steel tampon than hear this word again.
Okay, first off, if you're wearing a steel tampon, got news for you, that's a dildo. So, again, you seem to have problems understanding definitions of words. I hate the word flattering. Just wear clothes that fit. By the way, they're throwing dirt in the face of the people who are there to help them. When you read articles saying like, hey, this is flattering to plus size women, wear vertical stripes. Maybe don't wear this kind, don't wear a sheer dress. Maybe wear something with sequins. Floral patterns are flattering. These are people trying to sell them their plus size clothing, which they demand to be on the cover of every single magazine. I don't want you to use the word flattering. Okay, you'd prefer we give you clothes that are unflattering? Because guess what? That makes our job a whole lot easier. Everyone wears clothes that are flattering.
Yes.
Here's the truth. We wear clothes for other people. You wear them so when you go out into society, you are accepted as a decent human being who takes the time to put themselves together. We're not wearing them for ourselves. That's why when you're home, you wear sweatpants or pajamas, or in the studio, no pants. If that were acceptable, people in society would do that. Everyone wears clothes that are, this is not exclusive to plus-size chicks, and that's the problem, is the victim complex here. I hate the word flattering. Like, we're sitting here today going like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we're expected to wear clothes that are suitable.
Each day is going to be very different. One day I'll probably be loving life, and the next day I'll probably be hating it. So basically I'll be like my 13-year-old self.
Exactly! Straight from the horses or hippopotamus's mouth. I can't get
hippos.
that. You can't, hippos.
That's why they keep up with hippo.
Straight from the hungry hippo's mouth. Here's they admit, third wave feminism, intersectional feminists, are as mature as a 13-year-old. They cannot be expected to exceed the maturity of a 13-year-old. And here's, just like Barbara Streisand, I don't know if you've seen recently, she's been blaming Donald Trump for gaining weight because he makes her sad, so she's eating pancakes and getting fat. Seems like something a 13-year-old would say. It's very stupid. It's not very adult to act that way. Just like a girl saying, it depends entirely on how people react to me and validate me, and if they validate me in the exact way that I want to be validated, I'll either be fine or throw a temper tantrum like I'm the kid from Hook.
I've always enjoyed like showing a little bit of like butt cheek in the back, but the problem is that like you can't show butt cheek in the back without showing front cheek in the front.
What? I don't even know what that means in the video. What does that mean, front cheek in the front?
I don't think you want to know.
I think we dug something out.
What do we have?
That's what it means.
Oh, God.
But I'm getting a lot of compliments, and so I'm feeling pretty cute right now. I don't know. I'm feeling comfy.
And that's what this is about. Do you see what just happened here?
Yeah.
This whole thing is about empowerment and doing it for yourself, and her entire day is dictated by somebody else complimenting her. I just do this for, I don't care what you think. Oh my God, someone complimented me. It made my day. What? And by the way, this is not a compliment on your degree in astrophysics or nuclear science. This is a compliment on how you look in shorts. So here's something important to note. This is a sleight of hand that occurs all the time when we deal with this whole plus size and fat pride movement, right? We assume that it's about the inner beauty, that's about the personality, well, really it's about what's on the inside that counts. But that's not what they're advertising. This is entirely skin deep. It is narcissistic. It is completely shallow. Every bit as much as the skinny models who they hate, the skinny bitches who they don't like. The only difference is they weren't willing to do the crunches. I don't care what you think. My, you look lovely. I can't, you are just the sweetest thing. Next clip.
Getting to reprogram myself was a miracle, and B, really opened me up to more credit card debt in the future whenever I see something cute.
Okay, here we go.
There we
We were
go.
talking about the personality situation, right? Let's go with this. Okay, everything here has been about how you look. Everything has been this narcissism complex of how people view you in society based entirely on your clothes and your makeup. And here we have the clothes. It's not really personality based. It's certainly not about their moral fiber, their integrity, or their character. Just your fiscal responsibility. But we'll take it. You're so fat and shallow, we'll take it. And you show that you're bad at it. Literally everything I know about you thus far, I can't stand. Next clip.
You have got to wear what you want to wear. If you feel beautiful and confident in a certain item, go for it.
Like, I don't care if you have 2 followers on Instagram or 1 million followers on Instagram. You post that selfie and whatever clothes you want, and you will look good, and it doesn't matter because you're doing it for you.
False. First off, you post that selfie to Instagram, you might not look good, okay? She said, you'll look good. No, you won't. Most of the time you won't, especially if you're taking your previous guidelines of, I hate the word flattering. I don't want to wear anything flattering. Take your unflattering clothes that don't fit you and post it to Instagram. You won't look good. By the way, no one cares. It doesn't matter. You're doing it for you. That's incorrect because you just put a measurement on it, whether you have 1 followers or 1 million followers. You are posting it entirely for validation from someone else. This is the ultimate irony. These people in the plus size movement, in the fat pride movement, trying to tell young girls who, by the way, may be overweight, and I understand that I'm not insensitive to it, but you are telling them to find identity in the very thing that you claim to hate, which is shallow, skin deep, superficial judgment. And then you say, but you upload that picture of you in your clothes or you in your bikini to Instagram and get your validation, because that's what you do. The metric is how many followers on validation, but if they don't, it doesn't matter because you're doing it for you. If you're doing it for you, just get in the tub, look down at yourself naked. Say, okay, good, I'm happy with it. It's self-esteem currency. And these people should be bankrupt. You should. I deserve just as much self-esteem as you do. No, you don't. You don't. You haven't earned self-esteem. It's like Dr. Peterson says, you can't force me to respect you. You can't force somebody else out there to find you attractive. You can't force clothes to look good on you. You can't force men to no longer find certain features that we have biologically evolved to deem attractive, no longer attractive. You can't force that upon someone else. And let's get into some talking about unhealthy body images for one. The problem here is, again, this victim culture, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's 1% versus the 99%, or big fat women on BuzzFeed telling you that they don't want to wear flattering clothes, but you better like their picture on Instagram anyway. There are unintended consequences that create actual victims. But first, let's get into it. Okay, the average woman right now in the United States is 166 pounds. Okay. You're considered obese if you're over about 170 pounds in the United States, if you look at these charts. So what these women are trying to claim is, I would venture they're much more than 166 pounds. By the way, that's just the average. Here's the thing. We're obese as a nation right now. So this is something my doctor told me too, when you're doing these averages. I have hypothyroidism, so I can put on weight really, really quickly. So you have to check things, your TSH, T3, T4. I won't bore you with the technicality. But I spoke with my doctor. I said, okay, what should my TSH be? He said, okay, there are two ways to look at this. Most doctors will say between 0.5 and 5 about should be your blood level of TSH. I said, okay. He said, but that's not what I do. I said, what do you mean? He said, that level, 0.5 to 5, includes everyone in society who has hypothyroidism or metabolic syndrome or diabetes. So that 0.5 to 5 includes people who would skew that scale very unhealthily. So for me, I'd like to see it between 0.5 and 2.5. And I thought, wow, that makes remarkable sense. So when you remove people who are obese, the average healthy weight for a female, around that average height of 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", is about 130 pounds. Give or take 20. As you get taller, give or take 30. We know what is healthy. And here's the thing. There's a wide spectrum there. Most guys will find you attractive if you're somewhere on that graph outside of what is considered morbidly obese. So who are the unintended victims? What are the unintended consequences here? You have men, young men out there right now. Milo talked about this. Christine Hoff Sommers talks about this. The sexists who are terrified of engaging in relationships with women because women have become screeching, angry, and they feel entitled to validation on every front of their life, whether they've earned it or not. They feel entitled to say you're beautiful inside and out, you're perfect, even if they're not. They feel as though they should be told they're perfect in any kind of clothes and they're not plus size and they're wonderful, even if they're not. And what are you doing? You are creating a guilt complex in young men who cannot control what they're attracted to. They can't help it. They were born this way, born this way. They like women the same way men throughout the beginning of time have liked women. And the good thing is there's a range. You can have a Marilyn Monroe, you can have an Audrey Hepburn. They're not asking you to be a supermodel. They still want to see you naked. Boys, men who are married to you, they don't expect you to be perfect. They still like seeing naked women. In that same breath, if you're a land whale, most men won't find you attractive, and most clothes makers won't make tarps that fit that kind of a specialized clothing category. That's not their fault. It's your fault. And if you're going to go on Instagram or you're going to go on YouTube, you're going to go on Twitter, and you're going to demand that they validate you, and when they don't, demand that they are censored, guess what? I don't care if you're plus sized. You are the bad guy, not them. Hey, if you like this clip, you're like most of the internet. You have a short attention span, but it was taken from the full show. You can see it in a box playing next to me. That's once a week on Thursdays, full 1.5 hour show, or you can join the Mug Club for the daily show. We have to take some of that off YouTube because they're monitoring us and censoring our words.